Hey guys, welcome back to the Joe Jaguar Show, your best friend in science, astronomy, and telescopes. I hope one of them. Okay, here's what we got today. We have a Vixen 110 millimeter Maksutov. So let's get to it. Okay, so I have to admit, I haven't owned, I don't think, any Vixen telescopes. I think I have a couple of mounts. I might have tried a couple eyepieces, but never a telescope. And I think it's because in Canada, Vixen is actually not very popular. All the stores here, mainly, I can't say every single one, just have most of the big brands like the Skywatcher, the Meade, Celestron, Orion. Actually, even Orion is very not so common, and that's because Orion is just a rebranded, used to be mail catalog order, and it's really the same thing as a Skywatcher or Celestron Meade type of thing. But anyway, so you don't really see too many Vixen products in telescope stores. Maybe once in a blue moon they might get a used unit or one or something like that, a small refractor. So that's probably why I would say Vixen is a medium, high quality name brand made in Japan. So let's take a look at this. So this is let me just show it to you. So this is the VMC 110L. However, this model is actually made in China for Vixen. So it's 110 millimeters, a decent size. Now it's not a Mac Cassegrain. It's like a classical Maksutov where there's no front corrector plate. Okay, it's a nice little portable little guy, a little bit bigger than 4 inches, almost 4.5 inches, getting close to there. About 4.3 inches or so. So let's look at some of the features. So it doesn't have a glass in the front. It still bounces it to the back, to the front or secondary mirror. It just doesn't have a glass. So in some ways might be good because it's open. It might reach cool down a little bit quicker than with the glass one. Now also you'll probably see the spider vanes is curved. Some people don't like the spider vanes, or they don't like to see their stars with like X's or crosses. I really don't matter, so this would eliminate that. But for me personally, it doesn't really bother me. Over here you have a built-in Vixen shoe for your finder scope, and you have a port similar to the ETXs. You have a port here that can look downwards. And then you also have a port here that you can look on behind. So this one might be good for astronomy when you're looking up in this type of situation. Or you can use this port here. And similar to the ETX, you have a little, it's slightly different, of course, flip mirror, where it changes from one port to the other. So it just depends if you want to look that way or this way. But also, the other thing you could do is you could probably have a camera instead of currently it has a 90-degree inch and a quarter, but you can put your camera here while you look here, take a picture. So that's a neat little feature. The focus is a rubber knurled knob, which is good, feels pretty okay to me. The rear port, let me see if I can get this off for you guys. Okay, so the rear port is actually fixed. It does not come out, so you couldn't, I mean, in a Maksutov this small, I don't know if you could ever put a 2-inch diagonal. It doesn't have that option, but it unthreads. If you guys have this scope, if you could tell me maybe what size threads that. It's basically for 1.25 inches, which is fine for this small little guy. Now, if you do like daytime viewing, what you could do instead of, having the 90 degree is you could put the 45 degree and look at terrestrial viewing. Although, what's the focal length? Its focal length's a little bit big. It's 1035 millimeter focal length. So it's not so wide, I would say, for, you know, daytime viewing. Sometimes a nice wide expanse is good for daytime. So it's not going to be so wide. It's going to be in the medium, smaller field of view. What's also neat here, okay, is they have this little mounting block in two places. So here is the Vixen type of a rail that looks like it's about 4 inches. So if you want it, like, let's say, if you're going to be using a mount that's upright, right, you can have this block over here. But if you're going to have a side viewing mount, and you don't, you know, and this finder scope is going to be in a weird angle, and so is the flip mirror, you could put this block on the side, whichever way you like it. So it has two mounting options type of thing. So if I were to put this block over here, it can already go side viewing, and the finder scope is in a good position. Where if you lift it, if it only had one, then the finder scope would be more like that if it was on the side, or in this direction, which you'd be bending down. So I guess that's a neat little feature. You can put it in two different directions. Let me pull out the front cap that holds the secondary mirror. I've never seen a secondary mirror like this. You guys tell me if you're used to it. Is that normal? Normally, you know, you would see 3 screws, and it just looks a little weird to me, I guess. Again, I don't know if this pops out or anything, but you guys tell me if that's normal. If there's something I'm not familiar with it, I would appreciate this time you guys helping me out. It's a plastic housing, so you want to be careful taking this off and on. You don't strip these plastic threads. It wouldn't be the worst thing if, you know, I just left it off, but I want to try to get it back on. Now, it does have like a built-in dew cap. It's this black part here, and the secondary mirror is there. So I would say it unthreads. This part fully unthreads, so it's all one piece, where you can now see the secondary mirror behind if you ever needed to clean it. Actually looks pretty good. Actually near perfect. So that threads on, and then you could access the mirror. And the mirror looks like, well, not perfect. A little bit of dust, but that's okay. It looks pretty good. I'm not sure how old it is. If you guys have any other information to give me, I would appreciate it on the comments. We're just looking at this guy as an overview. I would like to test it, let's say on the moon, on Saturn, maybe on Jupiter. And what I'm thinking is, after that, what I would like to do is, because it's 110 millimeters, I think a good comparison to this guy would be the Takahashi 102 that I have. Reason is, 110 millimeters, by the time you take out reflection off from the mirror, and then you take off the central obstruction brightness, it's probably about equivalent to like a 4-inch refractor 102, 100 millimeter. And since Vixen is supposed to be a medium high quality optics, roughly about a 4-inch refractor anyway, why don't we compare it to the Takahashi 102 and see how it compares? And I think even the focal length is very similar. I think it's about 816, my Takahashi 102. This one's a little bit more, 1035, but again, very similar too. It's not that far off, so it would be a good comparison. I don't think it'd be a good comparison, let's say, to the Skywatcher Equinox, because that's an 80 millimeter, and this would be equivalent, let's say, to a 4-inch. Again, once you minus all that stuff, so it's too big of a difference. But this should be exactly duplicate to like a 102 type of telescope. So let's, maybe, if you guys are interested, I can do that and see how does it compare. Okay, guys. Anyway, so there is the Vixen Maksutov, and we'll give it a shot. It's 110 millimeter. If If you'd like to comment, like, and subscribe, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed yet, for you new people out there. If you know anybody getting into the hobby, or if you're on the forums and someone's asked a question about this telescope, maybe any other video that I have done, maybe share my channel or a link with them, I would greatly appreciate it. Once a month, I put a video that's only for the members, and it's 99 cents to join that. You don't have to join, but it helps the channel grow, so I can purchase stuff like this to show you guys, to test it, to compare it, and stuff like that. So if you'd like to join, you get to see one video that I won't release to the public, and I also put your name on the description. And why not you? Why not me?